In our last session, what we discussed is, how to create info objects in BW, and then, we quickly try to load the data from a, custom data source from R3 into our ADS4. Okay, it's just a quick tour of ADS4 we seen yesterday. Now in today's session, we will go through master data info object. Okay, so the main topic today we are going to discuss is master data info object. So yesterday we learned how to create info object, but we not gone through the explored that info object in detail. But today we are going to explore this info object in more detail way. Okay, that is called master data. So coming to this one, master data info object. So in our earlier sessions, I given some brief introduction about what is master data and what is transactional data, right? So in continue to that, now we are going to talk about only master data. Okay, but that is generalized, introduction to master data. But now we are learning this master data with respect to our BW. Okay. So now what is master data? A master data is nothing but, the data which doesn't change too frequently and which provides information about something. Okay. So example, better to, we can easily explain this with an example. So for example, if I taken any one material, then if material is a master data. So why I am saying material is a master data? Because for example, if you take any one material, then you have the corresponding properties of it. What is, we have the each material has its own properties, even if it is a cloth or a soap or whatever it may be, anything, any object or material you take, you can have the corresponding properties. For example, if we take one, mobile phone, it is an object. Mobile phone is one of an object. Let's take mobile phone is an object. So then if we take this mobile phone as an object, then what are the properties of the mobile phone? What is its length, what is its height, what is its width, okay, and color of the phone, and and many other properties. I don't want to go in depth of it, but these are the major properties. Weight also, weight of the mobile phone. These are the common properties. Any mobile you take, these are the common properties of the mobile phone. Okay, and remaining many other, we don't discuss all those things. In the same way, if we take one material also is one of the master data. And when coming to properties of this material master data, what are the main properties? Here also it's width, weight. Weight is one of the property. Material group, okay, material group, material type, material group, material type, base unit of measure. These are the general properties, okay, of a once again, let's take this. Wait, we can break it later. So these are the properties of the material. So if we take one example here, okay, generalized example, if we take any one, so material, if we take, let's take one example to understand better what is material group, what is let's take employee. Let's take one more example called employee. Okay, if we take employee as a master data, then employee, address means, first name, last name, phone number, city, country, zip code. All these are the properties of that employee. Okay, designation, all comes under properties. So a master data is an info object where it which doesn't change too frequently and which contains its corresponding properties. Okay, so when coming to this master data, so let's take some examples of employee. For example, if I taken one employee code 1001, so his first name is like, for example, Srinivas, last name is M, and phone number, when comes to phone number like 12345 6, and city, ABC city, and country C1, and zip code 123. Okay, like this. So this is one employee information. If we take another employee information, so definitely compared to first employee, second employee information doesn't definitely changes. Okay, it doesn't repeat. The master data won't repeat. Means that there will be at least, if it is, for example, this employee also may live in the same city, but definitely what is changing here, his first name and last name will definitely change. Correct? Hmm? So for example, here if it is Melisha and then M, even though initials are same, definitely some phone number, two people doesn't have same phone number. Okay, he also may live in same country and same place. So this is common. One of the example, record of master data, employee master data. Like this, we maintain, all the employees information in one of the master data info object. But when we talk about info object, generally yesterday we created one info object, okay, material info object. So in this info object, it is one column. One info object is nothing but one column in the table, I said in yesterday session. But when coming to this example, is it only one column? No. Material employee is one column, first name is second column, last name is third column, phone number fourth column. It means when you talk about master data, it is not exactly one info object. The one main info object followed by the each and every property of the employee is again one extra info objects. It means total how many info objects here we need to create, total 7 info objects, but out of these 7 info objects, employee is the key field here, key field of this master data. Okay, employee here, when we talk about employee master data, employee acts as a employee ID. Let's say it is employee ID acts as a key, and the properties acts as attributes. Okay, properties are attributes. Now when you wish to create this employee master data in BW, so you have to create total 7 info objects, and out of 7 info objects, employee ID is the master data info object, and the remaining all are attributes of this info object. Okay, so this is the terminology, like how we call it in BW. So now let's see about how to create this one. But I will give this particular employee information as an assignment to you. So now in our today's session, we will talk about material master data. Okay, because in yesterday's session we already created one G material info object. Okay, now what we are going to do is we are going to further develop this material info object as a master data info object, and I will show you how we we make it master data. As I said, for material there are some extra properties are called material group, material type, base unit of measure, and if we go to ECC, I told you Mara is a table where we store where we have material information, correct? So go to S11 Mara table. So if you go to Mara table, apart from material, remaining all columns are nothing but the attributes of this material, like material type, material group, base unit of measure, purchase order unit of measure, and then what else? Name of the person who changed. What else? Important fields. Basic material is one of the attribute of it. Okay, net weight, weight unit, gross weight. So we can take these two. Okay, we don't need all this. What else important fields here? Division. Let's take division. You see, length, width, height. If you take any one material, each and every, for phone is also one kind of material. For example, if the company who is a If it is a mobile manufacturing company, then maybe material one each kind of mobile is also one kind of material. Okay, so each can having its length, width, and height, unit of dimension, product hierarchy, and all. Hmm? These are all the properties of the material. So in our today's example, what we take is, just to make it little bit easier, I am taking material as a master data info object, and I am adding these three as a properties of this one. I am adding weight also, weight. Okay, also part of this property. So total for this info object, we have total 4 properties are there: material group, material type, base unit of measure, and weight. Now we already created geometrical info object. So for properties or attributes, for attributes also we need to create corresponding info objects. So I need to create now material group info object, gmat underscore grp. This is material group 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. Okay, because maximum length allows 9, so I need to make sure I give proper one. So material type. So material type is one info object technical name, base unit of measure. For the base unit of measure, I am going to use one of the standard info object, 0 base unit. Okay. For weight, I am going to create one custom gmat underscore weight. So 1 second, WEIGHT. Okay, now this is the length, it's becoming 11. When it is becoming 11, I need to reduce it to 9. So I need to reduce at least 1 2 characters I need to reduce. As I said, first we will remove this underscores because those are not important, and then from the right hand to left hand side, remove the vowels. Okay, so you see now it is a weight, or E or I, anything, whatever it may be, based upon your more meaningful. At the end, the whatever word, whatever technical name you are giving to any field, any info object, it must be any field or info object, it must be more meaningful. Instead of by saying it, no one should feel an eye. By saying it, it should be more meaningful. At least if we try to spell it, it should little bit come near to its real word if possible. Okay, so now I created the technical names for the remaining attributes of the info object, and now I need to define the length, because I told you, right, before creating any info object, first you must make sure what is its technical name, what is its description, and then length of the info object. For standard info object, I no need to think about length, but all custom info objects I must know. So material group, I am going to give length as 4. Okay, material type, I am going to give length as 3, and weight, I am going to make it as a decimal. Okay, decimal, because weight, when coming to weight, this is not related to any unit. Okay, if you want to relate it to with the 0 unit, you can make it. Okay, weight along with unit also you can, so that it must be quantity filed. Because it is a weight, I am not going to use anything. So because weight always we see in kgs and all, right? Okay, whatever it may be, I'm not going to give any unit for the weight. So I am going to create it as a key figure of type decimal. So next is identify the characteristic type. So material group is a char type, material type is a char type, base unit is a unit type field, and weight is a key figure. So now I have all the required information available. Now I can start creating the corresponding info objects. So once I created corresponding info objects, then I will show you how to add these particular attributes to this info object and make this info object as a master data info object. Okay, now let's do one by one. Now I'm going to create material group info object. So I'm going to my system, I'm going to characteristic tab, because I'm going to create a characteristic info object, material group. So spelling wrong. Material group characteristic. Okay, length 4. Activate. So it's activated. Next, material type, new. characteristic info object. Material. Yeah. Material type of length 3. Activate. So next zero base unit is standard info object I am going to use. So I'm not creating this one. Then I'm going to create one key figure. So for key figure, I need to go to key figure section, right click, new key figure, mat weight, and weight. Key figure. When I'm taking key figure data type, I must use select properly. So my key figure is of type decimal. So now click on finish. When I select a decimal, you see there is no option for the currency or unit. Only quantity and currency will for info objects of type quantity and currency. This section will be enabled. But when I take this data type as decimal, there is no need of providing this information at all. So simply activate your info object. So now I am done with creating all my attributes of my Masterdata info object. Now we are going to GMaterial info object. So where is GMaterial info object? Here it is GMaterial info object. So to make this info object as a Masterdata info object, you must check this checkbox, Masterdata. Okay. Before checking this checkbox, you see below you have 3 tabs: General, BI clients, and Extended. Whenever you click on this Masterdata, then you see some extra 2 got added. One is Masterdata/text and another one is attribute section. Okay, these 2 got enabled. Now generally which tab we need attributes tab, because our requirement is to add these attributes to this GMaterial info object, correct? But let's go to this Masterdata text tab also to see what is there. Here in this tab you can see read access and data target and all like this. As of now not required, so directly go to attribute section. In the attribute section, now we are going to add these whichever we created these info objects and attributes of this one, we are going to add. So gmat group, how to add? Click on this add button, search for this info object, double click on it, it was added. Okay, similarly GMaterial type, go to add gmat underscore group, GMaterial type, zero base unit, okay, zero base unit is not there, I think. So then I will replace it with 0 unit. Okay, instead of 0 base unit, I am replacing it with 0 unit, and then make this one weight. So I added these 4 key figures here. No, sorry, these 4 attributes here. So once adding these 4 attributes, then double click click on activate button. So what we did, we went to GMaterial info object, we enabled Masterdata for this info object and added the attribute section. So what is happening when we are adding this attribute section? So what is happening is whenever you enable Masterdata tab, then automatically system will create few tables in the backend. Okay, what are those tables? To understand those tables, you must come to the properties. Okay, to see whichever tables SAP created on top of this GMaterial, we need to come to properties tab, and under the properties, under DDIC, you can see all the tables name: data element, SID, master data view, master data table. Okay, these are the 4 tables which SAP got created. Okay, this SID table will be created automatically, but when you enable this master data, it creates P table. Remember, this P table is very important. For each and every master data info object, P table definitely exists. Okay, master data with attributes. I mean, a master data info object which is enabled with attributes, then definitely it contains p table. If you enable text of a master data, this checkbox, then there will be one more table will be added here, that is t table. So how I am calling p and t? You see here /bic slash is common everywhere, and then followed by one alphabet O S M P here, and followed by the info object name G material. Okay, so P means our attribute table, M means nothing but a view kind, S means SID table. This is a data element. This is not a table but a data element. We talk about data element in later time. So now let's copy this table name /bic slash p table, and let's see it in the BW system. Okay, now go to SC11. And in what is SC11? SC11 is a T code where we can see the table information. So P G material. So if you go to this table here, in this table you see material is a key field, and object version is one of the standard SAP field here, and change run also same thing. These remaining four, whichever we added as an attributes, those comes here: material group, material type, unit, and material weight. Okay, so these are the attributes of this material master data. So whichever master data you are looking into, that master data is always a key to the table. Since it is a G material master data, here material is acting as a key for this table. And along with this material, there is one more field called object version. This particular field will be added automatically to each and every info object in the P table. I will let you know the importance of object version in some time. Okay, that's it. So this is how to create a attribute master data for any info object. So what is attribute info object? Just to recap, so attribute info objects are what is master data info object of type attributes? We can call it as a master data info object with type attributes. Okay, there is one more master data info object with the text. It means say for the same info object we can enable text also. We will discuss that also in some time. So when coming to the attributes, these are the attributes of this material master data. Where we added it, first we need to enable the master data checkbox and then go to attribute section and add those attributes here. So once activating this info object, then what happens in the data, in the backend database, a P table will be created, and in the P table you can find the combination of this material along with its attributes here. Okay, and always the master data info object acts as a key for this P table. Okay, and the remaining all the attributes are non-key fields for this info object table. Okay, now next. So now we created info object and it is a table, and if I go to execute button and content button, you see there are no records. Yeah, null record. There is one blank record. By default in this P table there will be one entry with null information. You see everywhere it is null. This is the default record. We cannot delete this record in the P table. Okay, so whenever a master data info object with attributes got created, P table will be generated in the backend, and this P table will contain by default with blank row. Okay, and in the version, whichever column we seen earlier, this version is nothing but if you go to F4 help here, we have different versions: active version, revised, M means revised, N means new, like that. Okay. So 1 second. So next, what next? So by default one null record will be created. Now we will look into it how to add master data for this info object. So once you created info object in the BW, you can maintain master data into this info object. As we seen here, some examples. For example, if we take a material employee master data, there are some entries in the master data. Right. But now we create material master data. Now we want to add some entries in this material master data. how I can add entries into this master data. So that is the question now. How to maintain? So to maintain the master data, there is an option here called go to settings. Go to this settings tab here, master data maintenance. You need to click on this master data maintenance. Whenever you click on it, it will open in the browser. So it's select any one of the browser. I'm using Chrome browser, and then it is asking something like this. If you proceed, continue, it is asking for user ID and password. If it is single sign-on, something like that, it will directly navigate to this window. No, it won't ask for user ID and password. Next, now here I need to maintain my here we have an option to maintain our master data. You see all the columns, material group, material type, unit of measure, weight, everything is visible here. So simply what we need to do, we need to maintain our master data. M1 is one of the material, and let's say it is MG1 is the group, MT middle group, right? MG01. Let's take it as MG01 because it is 4 characters length, and material type we given 3. So MT01, and then unit of measure, let's take pieces, ST. Okay, and then weight, let's give 1. Okay, now if you want to add one more line here, just click on plus symbol, add line. Now M2. So this M2 also I can consider under same group, and the same type of pieces, length 1, of weight 1. Now click on, once you are done with updating your master data here, then you need to click on save. But now if you come to this arrow mark, there is an option save and activate. So what happens when you click on save, and what happens when you click on save and activate? So let's try. Click on save button. You click on save button. Now go here into your P table, click on display, execute. You see 2 records got created. Okay, 2 records got created. Now let me try to change here. You see, earlier I given T01. Now I changed my master data to T02. So earlier when I created with T01, what happened? We seen these 2 records with the AA version, correct? Whenever I changed my T01 of M2 material to T02, what happened? Same M2 record, one more record got created, but the version was updated. Here you see, instead of A version, now the new record which contains T02 is with the modified version. M means modified version. Okay. So, and what change flag? What is this change flag? Change flag means D means entry to be deleted, and what is this? I means entry marked for insertion. What it means is, so since for it is a master data, at any point of time for M2 there must be only one record, because material is the key for this table. But whenever I am changing it, what system is doing? System is creating one duplicate entry for this M2 and making the new entry as a modified version. Whenever you click on activate, you see there is one more option, save and activate. Whenever you activate, based upon this change flag, this entry will be deleted and this entry will be remain in the system. Now let's try to do this, save and activate. Okay, you see the master data of characteristic generator was activated. Now refresh here. You see now the deleted version got deleted and only T02 is present now. Both are in active version. So that is the importance of this version column here. So that's why for each and every master data info object, there will be a version column automatically inserted in the P table. You cannot see it, even when you are maintaining it from the browser, or you cannot see it when you in the attribute section also, you cannot see that object version. This is only available on the table, P table. Okay, but whenever you modify data in your master data, maintenance tab, this particular version will capture the latest changes and marks deletion flag for the older records. Okay, when you activate it, automatically, delete old records will be deleted, and finally latest data will be present in the master data info object. So this is what you need to learn about master data info object. Okay, so next important point here. So okay, because I am want to insert only two records, I am happy to insert manually. For example, I have 10,000 materials to be added. So are we going to add 10,000 manually here? It is not possible. It takes a lot of time, days and months it will take if we started adding one by one manually. So for that reason, what we are going to do, we can, if we, for example, if we have one master data info object where I need to maintain, more number of records into this, then I don't go for manual maintenance. Instead of that, what I can do, I can create one data source. So before telling that point, so now let's go to one Excel sheet. Let me open one Excel sheet. File, new. Let's take this copy. Okay, so M3, M4, M5, M6. So like this, I have around, these many, around 25 more records are there to be loaded. Okay, now initially what happens is whatever data we wish to load into our master data info object, we will formulate the data in an Excel format. Okay, so these are the materials, and to make it simple, what I will do is mg01, mg02. Let me pause the recording and then let me prepare it. So now I prepared some test data like this. Okay, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to save as this file in a different format. Okay, I'm going to material master material attribute master data 1, and I'm going to save it as a CSV comma delimited file. That is important. So we can we can use Excel file also, but it is always recommendable to save the file which you wish to load into BW is always a CSV file. Okay, that's it. So now if I go to my folder here, I can see middle master data attributes 1 test file open with notepad. So this is my file. Now whatever data we have in our hard disk, now I wish to load this information into my SAP BW system, okay, into this P table. So as I told you, to bring any data from any source into our BW, we always use a data source as an intermediate. Okay, so if you wish to load data from any flat file, we call these kind of files as a flat file. Okay, any flat file into BW, then we need to create a flat file data source. What we need to create to load data from a flat file into your BW, you must create a flat file data source. So where I can create it, go to data sources and then go to file, file server. Under file server, you can see some, like this. So I am going to use, file system. Under files, so these are different systems. So on your own system you can find multiple, you can take any one. So here I am using file system, and then I'm going to use not connected something, anything you can use. These are called as application components. Right click here, create. Okay, sorry, I don't have create option here, so I need to go to my GUI to create this. So /n rs7, I'm going to data sources tab, and in data sources tab currently I am in you see data sources for A4. So if you click on this button, there you will see some drop down BW ODP file. So this is nothing but what you are seeing here. Under data sources tab, whichever types you are seeing, the same types here also you are able to see when you click on this particular choose source system. So I'm going, you selecting file system. Under file, file system, this one I'm selecting. So under this now file system now, which okay, whatever it may be, anything is fine. Source system, file system, file system. So under file system, I can see application component GC. Right click here on the application. All these are nothing but application components. Right click on any one of the application component. Create data source. Okay. Now we are going to create one data source. So so before creating data source, as I told you earlier, first we must make an identify few things. Technical name GDS material underscore attr. Okay, it means data source. D is for data source, material attribute data source. Because since it was creating by me, I am going to provide my naming convention here SR. Okay, my name. So then material attribute DS. Okay, now copy this one, give the data source name, and what kind of data source it is. It's a attribute type data source. That's why you need to select master data type of attributes, because you are going to load attribute master data of a InfoObject. That's why it is mandatory for you to select a data source type as master data attributes. Okay, and then click on OK button. Here we need to provide the description. So which description we discussed? Material attribute data source. See, because of the length 20 restriction, here S is missing. In these scenarios, what you can do, you can remove little bit here, attribute put dot, and then give DS here. Okay, and then go to extraction tab. On the extraction tab, you see all these are very important points, so listen carefully. Okay, so when we creating the data source, on the first tab we must provide the description part. On the extraction tab, what is important here, you must select here few things. You see file name, it is telling adapter is one of the thing. Load text file from local workstation. So it means this particular data source will allow us to load data from our local workstation, nothing but our hard disk. Okay, and it is giving the file name. We must select our file name from our local disk. So go here, go to libraries, go to libraries, documents, BW training, data sheets, material attribute master data 1. Click on open. So now in this particular file, do you have any header rows? Yes, right. So when I am creating my file, I added one header row. So my header row is not a data, but it is a header which identifies the technical name of each column. So I am not supposed to load my first column. That's why header rows to be ignored 1, because this is not data, this is the header information. That's why I must not load that information into my columns. So here we need to provide 1. And then data format. So in this particular sheet, what kind of data format you are trying to upload? I am trying to upload a CSV file. That's why data format I must to change it to separated with the separators from CSV. Now what is my separator? Comma separator. So if I go to my file, and remember, once you saved your file as a CSV format, never ever open this file again in the Excel format. Okay, if you open this file in Excel format, any formatting changes may happen, may takes place, and your file will be corrupted. That's why all CSV files must be to be opened with the Notepad extension only. Okay, you see comma, each column in my file is separated with comma. So this is what here we are providing here. Where it is? Data separator is comma, escape sign, don't touch this one, leave it like this. Now go to proposal tab. On the proposal tab, load example data, important. So say click on load example data. It will try to load now the data from this file, because in our previous extraction tab we already provided path to our file. So from that path now system is trying to access the file. So it is reading the file and it is loading the data also, and based upon the comma separator based upon the setting we given first row as a header row, it is taking the info, field column names here. From the file, it is it is picking the column names. First column, second column, third column, fourth column, fifth column, like this. Okay, and wherever we have 0, the first letter of my column name must not be 0. That's why it is removed the 0 from this column name. Next, so after this, you see length, the current length. How this length and all came based upon the data we are trying to load. It is system is prejudging the length and output length here. But when you go to field section, here you have an option to change those. Okay, here if you know this particular geometrical column is mapped to the P table. Where is our P table? /by/11. At the end, we are going to load data into this P table only, right? So the material coming from this flat file is equal to material info object. So which is of length 18. So it is mandatory that you update your length here correctly. So material system considering it as a 3. Why? Because the data which we are trying to load is having max 3 length everywhere. When comparing everywhere, so the max length it is having 3. That's why system proposed the length as 3. But we know this field can contains data till 18 characters. Okay, so change it to 18, and even external length also you must change it to 18. If it is difficult for you to check length and change length, what you can do? Simply you can map the info object here. You see info object template. If you have a difficulty to update each and every info object length and external length here, then what you can do, simply provide the info object technical name here, because this column is equivalent to the info object gmaterial. So give gmaterial, press enter. If you press enter, you will get this kind of pop-up. So click on copy. Automatically what happens, the char length, everything will be automatically taken from this info object. Now see, I will show you one more example. Let's take this one, 0 base unit, which is of char 2. Now I am giving 0 unit here and pressing enter, and then click on copy field properties from info object and existing entries whatever you have to be overwritten. Click on copy. You see the char got changed to unit and 2 got changed to 3 and 3, and here tick mark came like this. Okay, so in the same way I am going to update the info objects for the other fields also. 0 unit, press on enter, click on copy. Automatically what happens, all the data types will be automatically updated. You see even material weight also came decimal 17,323 and everything came exactly. Now once you are done with this fields tab, now activate it. Don't go to preview tab, simply try to activate your data source. It's a simple concept, but as I am explaining it now, it is taking more time for you. That's it. Now you see everything is green. Now data source was successfully created. If I expand my application component, here I can see material master data, data source, material attribute data source. If I go to field section, I can see all my fields. Now go to preview button. Now here read preview data. It will try to read data from your file. Then I can see all my data correctly. So once you are done with creating the data source, now what we need to do in order to load this information into our BW. So it means into our Masterdata info object, you must create a transformation between our info object to this data source. Okay. So this is the gmaterial info object. Right click on it, new transformation. So target is gmaterial and source is our data source. Okay, so object type data source, provide data source name, or else provide, go to search button, provide here, press enter, then click on OK, click on OK. You see, because of the same technical names we are using here and there, all the mappings are done automatically. And you see here the target gmaterial is the info object and all the material group type unit weight are the attributes of it. Okay, that's why key was mapped to G material. Click on activate. So if I refresh my characteristic tab, I can see, you see, I can see the material transformation. Now right click on it, create TTP. Click on OK, click on OK, active. So because it is a flat file data source, so you can always make it as a full here. When you go for full, you have an option to data extraction from PSA or directly from the file without using PSA. Okay, so yeah, let's try to, yeah, 1 second. What I'm thinking is, now here we have an option, because flat file data sources can, here you can load it with PSA, without PSA also. Because you see, whenever you selected this as a full load, you got an option to load data directly from it, or from PSA or using flat file. 1 second, where is that option? Where is that option? Because I already selected it now. Now I think I'm not getting that option now. Now yeah, here data extraction from PSA. Whenever you say from PSA, first initially we need to load data to the PSA, and then it is coming here. But I will show you this example tomorrow for the master text file master data loading, and for today we will directly load it from the from without PSA. So when I say without PSA, this file name, header row, everything are getting copied from the data source. Okay, so simply activate this TTP, go to execute button, click on execute. It will prompt for the authorization. Click on allow, click on yes. You see 25 records got loaded now. Okay, now go to the P table of this one. Go to content, execute. You see now 25, almost 25, plus we maintain 2 records and 1 null record. Total 28 records got loaded here. Okay, so if you want to load bulk data into your master data, you can use flat file data source as an option to upload data into BW. So this is the concept of how to upload data, how to create a master data info object with attributes, and how to perform data load from flat file into your master data info object. Okay, so for today I will conclude here and provide you the assignment for tomorrow. So as stated in starting of my session, earlier you are working on with info object master data. In yesterday's session, I already given assignment for you to create, for employee ID is one of the master data, and the remaining all are properties of it, attributes. So today what you are going to do is, you already created employee ID master data in your assignment. So simply, and you already created all these info objects as part of your yesterday assignment. Now simply go to this info object, add all these attributes to this all these info objects as an attribute to this employee ID master data, and try to perform data load from a flat file. Okay, yesterday you tried to load data from a data source, but now we are going to trying to load data from a flat file. So now what will be the assignment here? Let me copy this one. After creating info objects, after creating below info objects, um, add add first name, last name, street, city, country, postal code, and phone number as attributes to the employee master data. Okay, so after creating info objects, then you need to add all these other attributes to the employee ID master data. But how you can get it? Initially you won't get this attribute tab here. Okay, when you on the here on your employee ID master data, you won't get this attributes tab. In order to get this attributes tab, you first enable your master data checkbox. Okay, remember that point when you're doing this assignment. So once after doing this, then what you need to do? Create a CSV file with below data. So this is your CSV file, header column, and we need to provide some data. So let's give here EMP001. Okay, first name as employee and last name as 1. Okay, street name you can give S1, city you can give C1, CTY1, and country you can give India, something INT you can give country, zip code 123456, phone number 123. Like this, just I am going to prepare 2 more records, EMP002, employee 2. You can give same city and country and everything, but zip code also you can give same, it is possible, but phone number give something like this. Okay, so like this you create one CSV file with this format, comma separate, create a CSV file within the brackets, comma separated. So what was the third point? Create a flat file data source of type master data attributes. Okay, with the above structure. So you must use this structure to create your data source. Okay, means if you upload this CSV file as a template, load example data, automatically everything will be created. And you need to update these info objects as a references to your data source. And finally, load data from CSV file into the master data info object. Okay, so please complete this assignment by tomorrow so that you get to know how to create custom flat file data source, how to load data from a flat file data source, flat file into BW master data info object. And one more thing, we learned one more topic here, maintaining master data manually. Okay, and maintain below master data manually from browser or manually via master data maintenance. So here let's take example as EMP010 employee 10 S2 CTV2 IND zip code 123456 and something like this. Okay, maintain this entry manually in the master data so that you get to know how to maintain data manually and how to upload data via flat file also. Okay, and then I am stopping recording.